Hello and welcome. If you're joining us, technical issues often occur when you are going live, but welcome if you're coming back to us. A mix up in the button and it made me stop. So I apologize. I hope you're doing well, and I guess I've just start again. First of all, so today's live, we're going to talk about before you're buying a business. And in case you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. I'm excited to talk about this topic because there's lots of different ways that you can become a business owner. And one of them is by buying a business. And you can obviously start a business. There's less capital involved with starting a business. It's easier to start a business in the respect that you can build it as you go. You can build the customer, but it's harder because it takes longer to get critical mass to move it forward into the process. If you buy a business, it costs more, but you've avoided the time that it takes the person to get to that point. So you're starting with a little bit of a base level, but you're also balancing that with the need of the party that's exiting, because as I said, a buyer and a seller have competing interests. A seller wants to sell it for as much as possible, and a buyer wants to buy it for as little as possible. And so part of the process of buying a business is going to be making sure that the business is well taken care of, and that both parties are benefiting from it. And you can do this through lots of different ways. And you can do it through money related, but not directly cash out of pocket related, like structuring it through tiered investments. The other thing that you want to do is sure that the very first thing you want to do is make sure you know what your business is worth. And that can be done through a business valuation, where somebody looks at your hard assets, your receivables, your cash flow, as well as your soft assets such as furniture and other personal property. And then also have them evaluate your intangibles such as intellectual property, and so on and so forth. And the key here is that you want to make sure that you're getting a good value out of the business that you've worked hard to sell. And it's a stronger argument for the buyer of that business as well. Now, the key here, the detail about that is, if it's a sole proprietor you're buying from, you're buying a lot of their name. And so people may not like you the same as they like that owner, that previous owner. And so that doesn't have as much value as if they're buying into a brand. For instance, I'm building Think Legal. That's going to be a brand as opposed to just a business that's tied to my name. Think buying Coke, buying Pepsi, those big corporations. When you're buying that, you're buying a lot more than just the drink. So many assets that go with that. And so the value obviously is going to be a lot higher. One of the things that you have to worry about is client or customer retention. How are they going to retain afterwards? And part of that will be getting the seller to make sure that you're well liked and that you're trained properly to do the job that they have been doing, and that they stay on board long enough for you to get with the program, right? It's a seamless transition from one person to the next, or one business entity to the next. One of the reasons why a lot of mergers and acquisitions fail is not because the numbers aren't there. It's because the personality between the previous business and the buying business aren't the same, and it causes this riff in them. And so what you want to do is make sure that your culture is maintained throughout to really give you a solid background and just give your clients the best service possible during that period, and that it's not just walking away and washing your hands of the issue. That's your next issue. The alternatives that I talked about was tiered buyouts as opposed to a straight up value. And what this does is it creates an ownership opportunity for the seller to make sure that they're doing all they can to ensure the buyer is getting the best value for their money. And that as time goes on, they are spending the money on, for instance, if you have 1,000 customers, then here's your total amount if all 1,000 stay with them within 90 days or 6 months. And if it's less, then they pay less, right? And that's a more fair way of looking at it, rather than just, I want $100,000. Even though it could be worthless if the clients or customers end up leaving. So you really want to make sure that it's beneficial for both parties. Also, like having a partial lump sum as well as monthly payments can be a way to get more money over time and have a regular source of income. Now, obviously that should be secured by the assets of the business and under a promissory note, and making sure that you're getting fair value for it. But these are ways that you can structure a business to give you the best outcome possible for both parties. Now, I do have to stress this. This is not an exhaustive list. This is the high level things that you need to think about if you're buying a business. You don't want to go into this blind, necessarily listening to every person out there, because at the end of the day, it's going to be your business that you're buying or selling. Last but certainly not least, you want to make sure that the liability issues that are surrounding, like if there's a liability thing, that party indemnifies you against that liability for the future. So that is very, very important, because otherwise, if you walked into a situation where someone's suing somebody or could be sued, then you're accepting the liability for the previous owner, even though you had nothing to do with it. So it's very important that you get those types of things in writing, against like indemnification and third-party liability and such, because otherwise you run that risk of signing up for something that you didn't know you're getting into, and they end up getting more, they get the money and you get screwed is essentially what that comes down to. Again, these are high level things that you want to think about. This is a non-exhaustive list. Please consult an attorney in your local area if you are thinking of doing this, so that you're getting the best deal possible, and make sure all your T's are crossed and I's are dotted and whatnot. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them below. And, don't forget to hit subscribe and or like, so that you get updated every weekday, non-holiday that I go live. And I look forward to meeting you and talking with you and chatting with you. So hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.